Oh, well, well. Hey, Amanda, good evening. Sean, hope everybody's doing good. I am going to just take a quick second to tweet this puppy out, and we can start reading some glitch stories, man. Oh, Sean, thanks for the other day for that, I don't know what it's called, a super chat or a super thank you. Or whatever it was. But yeah, thank you. It means a lot. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. We'll probably be rocking and rolling in 3 minutes. Oh, Danny says hello, man. Danny's gonna have the Halloween house in her neighborhood for sure. I think I've got everything ready. Let me switch over to the main screen here. Sacred Values is in. Says, hey, everyone. Cool, man. Lots of homies in. Thanks, everybody. We're going to be reading, I don't know, like 10-ish Glitch in the Matrix stories. I should probably count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I lied to you. Oh, jeez. I'm the worst. Unless that was a glitch. I could have sworn he said 10, but he only read 9. Whoa. My Matrix. My Matrix is glitching. Already fumbling my words. This is going to be good. Going to be a great one. All right. First one's called A Lady Disappears from a Bathroom Stall at the Movies? Question mark? Oh, is my recording thing even ready? It is. All right, cool. Nah, I lied. That's not the first one. First one's called Bright Pink Gardening Gloves Disappeared and then Reappeared weeks later. Yeah. I'm just going to spoil the entire story in the title, so no, everybody ignore me. All right. 2 months ago, I decided to get into herb gardening. I went to Home Depot and bought 8 plants and a pair of bright pink gardening gloves. I got them home and unloaded all of those items from the trunk of the car onto a plain wooden bench in my garage. I carried the plants upstairs 2 by 2 and then came back for the gloves, but they were gone. I looked on the floor by the bench, in the car, upstairs with the plants, and no gloves. My boyfriend checked the same locations several times as well, no gloves. I checked my Home Depot receipt, and I had paid for them, and I decided they must have unfortunately missed bagging at Home Depot and gotten left behind. I moved on with my life and forgot about them. Fast forward to last weekend. My boyfriend and our friend were working on my car in the garage. I went outside to see how it was going and chatted with them for just a bit, and out of the corner of my eye, suddenly, I noticed something bright pink. It was the gardening gloves on the wooden bench exactly where I remembered leaving them, and exactly where both my boyfriend and I had searched fruitlessly 2 months ago for. Part of me wants to explain it away. I almost made it to the end. Part of me wants to explain it away by saying my boyfriend and I somehow just didn't see them, but they're like neon pink on a wooden bench, so I don't know. It's so weird and such a small and insignificant glitch, but they came in super clutch today when I had to plant 2 more plants, so I'm not mad about it. Alright. Glitch stories are usually Glitch stories are usually very short, so I gotta put a lot of them in one video. Maybe that's why people like them so much. Danny says, yes, the king of... oh, dang, dude. Words are hard. The king of glitchy glitch stories. Make sure to like and share. For sure. Thank you. Alright, well then, that was glitch number 1. Glitch number 2. What's that called? I'm not going to tell you what it's called because that'll spoil it. Unlike the last story, my pink gloves went missing and then I found them. Alright. If you're here for the intro line, alright, so check this out. That comes at the end. I'll do that at the last one. Danny, I'm glad you like the music, and I'm glad it's not too loud, I hope. Wink, wink. If it is, let me know. If you search YouTube, 1970s horror house, knife emoji, hyphen, dark and haunting ambience, parentheses, perfect for reading Stephen King, exclamation point, book, close parentheses, it should probably pop right up, I would imagine. Anyway. Now, before anyone says anything about how I must have left it home, no, I didn't, because I know for a fact that I had it with me while I was out. I literally saw it fall out of my pocket in the vehicle and onto the flooring. I messed it up. I literally saw it fall out of my pocket into the vehicle and onto the flooring, but just left it because I didn't want to waste time picking it up. Half an hour later, I came back into the vehicle and I was getting ready to leave. I was set on getting it, but for some reason I couldn't find it. I know it was there somewhere, but after checking top to bottom, I was positive that it went through a crack in the door or got stuck in the seats themselves, which unfortunately is hard to dig into, but something small, like my AirPod case, would be able to slip in. I gave up and thought, oh well, that's a shame. Today just wasn't my day at all. Weird occurrences just... Oh my god, this is funny. I'm gonna read it like how she says it. Weird occurrences just be happening. However, 5 years later, and I just got home, I went into my room and I thought, what are the odds that it's here? And, well, as sure as freaking... What the fuck, dude? Will it sure... Dang. Is this a young person writing this? Is this a youth? I can't keep up. And, well, sure as heck it was. It was on my bed, under my blanket. I don't know how it got there. I don't know who put them there, but it definitely wasn't me. Not only that, but the case is 100... Fuck. Not only that, but the case is at 100%. It wasn't fully charged when I left earlier in the day. It was just halfway. So, how did I lose my AirPods case, and who charged them? Yeah, that was a weird one. AirPods case missing. All right, everybody. If you lose your AirPods case, you'll find them 5 years later. You're going to be 2 or 3 models behind, but they'll be fully charged most likely and still work. Sean says, "Yo, Derek, what happened to all the merch? I need me a Secret Club hoodie." You're going to have to remind me. I feel like one of us said something about it. Oh yeah, I posted a picture of that was actually me and Mrs. Weber wearing our Derek Weber hoodies. Did you order some and they're just not in yet? Let me know, dude. Extrapolate on that data, please. Because my brain be busted sometimes. It's not bussin'. I work with a 23-year-old, and she teaches me like slang all the time, dude. It just makes me feel so old. All right. Story number 3, man. This one's cool, I think. It's called Daniel the Cookie Guy. Oh, and it was deleted. All right, never mind. A nice one. Nice one, Daniel. Fantastic. Deleted. Was it moved somewhere else, maybe? All right, cool. Should have read it when it was still online. Nice job. All right, well, I look forward to reading 8 Glitch in the Matrix stories for you guys, not 10. Oh, okay, Sean. Thank you for the heads up, man. I may just need to update my merch link that's in my description, so thank you for that. I definitely will as soon as this is over. Yeah, appreciate the heads up. Hoodie season is right around the corner, dude. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just like an issue with my merch store's supplier, but the large hoodies are comfy, but the extra large hoodies are just made out of like a much softer material, and they're like extra comfy. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if they just got those different sizes from different suppliers, and that's why they feel different, or if they just switched, you know, in the middle of me ordering a large and then ordering an extra large just to see how they fit, because I care. Listen, I don't own one of everything in the merch store. That would be silly. But I do own a couple of pieces, man, and some of that is for like actual research. You know what I mean? It's like when you buy like the Secret Club hoodie, I want to know how it feels, so that, you know, I know you're getting a good product. And when you buy like the Derek Weber dad hat, you know what I mean? Or if, you know, like I love Scary Stories dad hat too. That one's super comfy. So it's like, I just want to know what kind of merch people be buying. Here's another phone related story. We're getting glitchy. This story is called Missing Phone Charger. Okay, I know the title sounds lame because everyone loses their phone charger, and I've definitely read crazier stories on here, but hear me out. One day, I cleaned my entire apartment. One thing about me is that when I get in this certain cleany mood, I get very perfectionist and everything is spotless. So when I needed to unplug my charger to plug something else in, I remember thinking to myself that maybe I should put the charger in a drawer, but I knew that but I knew that I would be using the charger again later that day and plugging it back into the same plug, so even though it irked me just a little, I just put the charger on the floor below the outlet. When I went back to use my charger, though, it was gone. I looked in the drawer where I considered putting it, thinking maybe I just didn't remember, but it wasn't there or anywhere in my room. I was home alone, so it couldn't have been someone else using it. I started looking all over the house and would periodically go back to where I knew I left it. I looked there probably 4 or 5 times and it was never there. Excuse me. Gross. I really started thinking that I was crazy because I remembered having the debate in my head about whether to put it on the top, whether to put it on the floor. Okay. I really started thinking I was crazy because I remembered having the debate in my head about whether to put it on the Oh, Sir Creepington Pasta's here. Mary says hello. Hey, Mary. Thanks for sourcing these stories for me. This is huge. Thank you. Mary is the wizard behind the curtain. Sir says, oh, how I've missed this buttery smooth voice. Oh, you stop it. Cool. This glitch story is almost over. Where did I leave off? Okay, here we go. I really started thinking I was crazy because I remembered having the debate in my head about whether to put it on the floor or to put it in a drawer, and purposely leaving it on the floor. That again was spotless. It wasn't like it was a messy room with stuff all over the floor and it was hidden under something. Well, as I'm looking around the apartment, I go to check the spot yet again, and what do you know? It's back, exactly where I had put it on the ground below the outlet. I've told people in my life before and nobody believes me. They think that it had just maybe slid under the dresser magically or that I didn't see it. But I 100% know exactly where I left it, and that it wasn't there for about a half hour. Okay. But I 100% knew exactly where I left it, that it wasn't there for about a half hour, and then it reappeared exactly where it was. Oh, that's a glitchy phone charger there. I got super lucky. I see a couple of folks in the chat talking about logos and stuff, man. I got crazy lucky. I hired 4 artists on Fiverr, and I told them all the exact same thing. I said, I read scary stories. Like, that's what I do. And like, the first artist got back to me a couple hours later, and he sent me this logo of this like old school microphone with like a weird monster hand holding it, which is what you're seeing on screen right now. And then I was like, oh, that's actually super cool, but let me see what the other 3 artists do. But over the course of the next 2 days, when the other artists were getting back to me, they were like super lame, like random, like, I don't know, dude, like interior design business style logos. Nothing against those, of course, but that's just not what I do, on this channel at least, and I just wanted something a little bit iconic, you know what I mean? So anyways, go figure, like the first artist that I hired out of 4 was going to be the one, and he was, I think, the cheapest as well. Alright, this next one's called On the Road from Buffalo. On the road again. On the road again from Buffalo. There it is. Danny, you'll find an artist. Amanda Jane, you'll find one too. All right. This one good? All right. I forget what number story this is, but let's just read it. Okay, so I have a few different weird, glitchy stories, but I'll start with this one. For a few years, my husband and I lived in West Virginia in this little town called Eleanor. Sort of weird in its own way, but that's not part of the story. Now, those of you who have heard of Mothman would know that Point Pleasant is also in West Virginia, and my husband and I would drive there every so often from Eleanor, taking the longer but less traveled way down the 62 through Buffalo and a number of small, unincorporated towns. Some of these were nothing more than a long, closed grocery store and a couple of double wides. Anyway, so on the road past Buffalo, heading to Point Pleasant, there was some sort of glitchy area, but only in one direction. Just past the town of Leon was an area of basically mountain on one side, drop on the other. At a certain spot, I could show it to you if you were there, the radio would start cutting out, doing that static, whiny thing like it was trying to find the station, both coming and going. Sometimes I run out of breath, dude. What's up with that? I'm just standing here reading, and I'm like wheezing over here. I need my narration inhaler. Thanks, guys. Danny says she'll keep looking in, and I love Derek's logo, and of course Derek is in all caps. Thanks. Vincent Rain. What's up, Vincent? He says, I think my favorite logos and art pieces from horror narrators are Corpse Husband and Black Eyed Blonde. Black Eyed Blonde reminds me a lot of like early 2000s, like the scene, you know what I mean? Which may be intentional, may not be, but that's just what I catch. And I, for one, love that. And then, of course, Corpse Husband is a legend in his own right. Oh, snap. Alright, thanks, Swamp Dweller. Giving me shit on my own stream. He says, read word, voice man. Alright. He's the boss, so let me get to it. Where did I leave off? There it is. We just figured it was the mountain messing with the signal, which would make sense. No biggie. We ignored it. When we drove home from Point, though, based on the time it took us to get there, we figured to arrive home at a certain time. And when we got there, we noticed we were 12 minutes earlier than we expected. Of course, I was just driving faster, right? Except I didn't think I was. That area is one you don't want to go over 55, really. But I also don't like to go too slow, so I would want to keep it around 50 the whole time. So we tested it. A couple of weeks later, we had a reason to be in Point again, and again took the back way through Buffalo and Leon. We logged the time passed out of Buffalo, and the 35-mile-an-hour limit, and I maintained 50 the entire remaining distance to the Tiger Mart, just outside of Point. We stopped at the Tiger Mart, logged the time immediately, and got a drink. On the way back home, we stopped at the Tiger Mart again, grabbed a drink, logged the time, and we headed off. And we made sure to log the time right when we stopped, rather than after we went in for drinks, and right before we drove off, as to not skew the time we were actually on the road. Anyways, I maintained 50 miles an hour all the way to Buffalo, where we stopped and logged the time. The return trip was 12 minutes shorter again. We did this several more times, almost like a scientific experiment, and every time the return trip was 12 minutes shorter. And if we had the radio on, it would mess up just after Leon for several miles. Again, this could be the mountain and not glitch related, but I included it because the first time it was the radio that caught our attention. I don't know why this happens. I just chalked it up as another weird thing about wild and wonderful West Virginia. That's a glitchy one, babies. Insert on the road from Buff. All right. To those that are just popping in, thank you, welcome. Appreciate all of you. We're reading Glitch in the Matrix stories. I might have, I don't know. I keep losing count. 4 or 5 left. We'll get there. Lady's in. Hey, lady. Nice to see you. Oh, man. Is it, aren't you like 3 days in the future? That's cool. Yeah, Darkness Prevails thumbnail art is also sick. But what about that swamp art, though, am I right? I like TDN. I'll just say it. TDN's a dope artist, dude. He's a dope person, but if you scroll back on my channel far enough, you can tell you might be able to see the switch from before I talked to TDN about graphic design and then after I talked to him about graphic design. The switch is, it almost happens, it happened overnight, literally. Like I just stopped doing one thing and started doing another, and well. Vincent Rain says he came here from Amanda's tweet. Well, thank you, Vincent, and thank you, Amanda. Lady says she's a Time Lord because in Australia she's 3 days in the 3.5 days, right? Given the toilet spinning backwards calculations, 3.5 days. I don't want to sound like a super dummy. I know what time zones are. Oh yes, lady. TDN did one of your thumbnails a few weeks back too. I think it was like the back roads, I want to say. And I love how he kept like your overall vibe too. That's cool. All right, where are we? This one's a glitchy Christmas one. What? And it's from the 90s. Oh, here we go. I'm living my best life right now, guys. I'm reading a Christmas-themed Glitch in the Matrix story from 1992. Oh, it doesn't get any better than this. All right, can I hit record yet? There it is. I think this belongs here as one of several temporal. I'm going to say that's temporal. And I'll just start over. I think this belongs here as one of several temporal anomalies I've experienced. In Christmas of 1992, I received a franked envelope with an old-style stamp on it through my door, addressed to me at my then address. On opening, I found it was a Christmas card wishing me a happy Christmas 1944, with a return address which was nearby from a married couple that I'd never heard of. I asked various friends of mine whether they had pranked me, but they all denied it. I suppose one of them might have been lying. However, even if it was a practical joke, I don't understand how the person concerned could have got the card franked and obtained an envelope, unfranked, wartime stamped the card from 1944. All of them looked new. The envelope was of a different texture of paper, but it wasn't old, just differently textured, suggesting a different kind of paper-making technology where the grain of the paper was more obvious and slightly coarser than I was used to in the 1990s. Oh, alright, cool. super quick, dumb side note while I'm thinking about it. The vibe when I read these stories, I just want it to sound like me and you were just chilling, and I'm telling you a story. You know what I mean? You went away for the week on vacation, and you're back, and I'm just telling you about all the crazy stuff that happened. Now, what that means is I have to reword some of the stories in a much more casual, delivery. And when the line says, "I cannot now find the card, nor can I remember the names," my brain's like, "Nah, I don't talk like my friends don't talk like that." You know what I mean? So you would write that way, and it'd be correct. But if you're just chilling, in your car, waiting for gas to fill, I don't know, dude. You get what I'm going for. Where was I? I can't find the card now, and I can't remember the names, but I can remember the location of the alleged address from which it was sent. The links somewhat... Oh, this. Okay. This links somewhat to a couple of other musical temporal oddities. My recollection of Dire Straits' Walk of Life was that it appeared on every Dire Straits album as a kind of superstitious good luck charm from 1978 onward, and was released as a single in the late 70s rather than 1985. Also, Tears for Fears, Sowing the Seeds of Love. Woo! I thought I'd be hearing some sounds on the other side of my room, freaking me out. Alright, anyways, where was I? Also, Tears for Fears, Sowing the Seeds of Love was released in 1982, not 1989, as a single. In both cases, when I first heard them on the radio, I was able to sing along verbatim and with the tune exactly right, and thought the radio station was playing an oldie. In the case of Sowing the Seeds of Love, since it was inspired by the events of 1987, In the case of Sowing the Seeds of Love, since it was inspired by the events of the 1987 general election, this makes very little sense. I realize it's a pastiche of psychedelia, but that's not it. I remembered it clearly as a 1982 single. My take on all of these events is they happened My take on all of these events as they happened was this, and I've mentioned this elsewhere on this subreddit. Our consciousness is confined to this lifetime, and we can't admit non-existence as part of our being, so the events from before our conception and after our death do not exist for us. Instead, time appears to loop subjectively for us, and our experience of dying will be immediately followed by the beginning of consciousness in the womb. Because this is an infinite loop, we are occasionally able to recall memories which seem to be from the future. That's my explanation for the music, although the time period concerned is much shorter than my lifespan. As for the Christmas card, I have reason to believe my body includes an earlier cell line than the one initiated by my conception, which began in 1944. But I don't know. I'm open to explanations, spooky or otherwise. Well, I don't know what to think about that one, man. Speechless. It's not even like that. It is a little bit insane, I guess, but it's not like goosebumps inducing, you know what I mean? He's not R.L. Steining me right now. Sean says, Mr. Revenant's new avatar is pretty cool too. Who designed his? I don't know, man. I can shoot him some question marks, and if he answers. I don't think he's online as much as some other people are. Maybe he is and he just ignores me. I don't know. I doubt it though. Oh, lady says, I imagine you telling me a story and we're both drinking whiskey or something. Yeah, that's it, dude. Now, is that just between me and you, or is that how you listen to most? Is that like your default perspective? Let me know. All right, let me get some tea in me. Okay. The next story is all about falling books and opening drawers and more. Sounds terrifying. Let's read it. So, I live in an apartment with my girlfriend and our 4 cats. I moved here last summer and she moved in a few months ago, and this has been happening for a while, but it's escalated lately. We keep some recipe and cookbooks on top of a set of kitchen cabinets. I've read this one before. Yeah, no, cool. I read this one before. It's in one of my previous glitch videos. I just didn't delete it from my reserves. But hey, you know what, dude? We're here. Let's just read it together. I'll read it for you in case you didn't catch that last glitch video. Lady says, nah, just your voice gives me sitting at the bar listening to a dude telling me story vibes. Cool, man. I'm not a creepy guy. I just want to tell you creepy stories. All right. I'm not going to record this one since it's been in a previous video and I just forgot to delete it, but I'll read it for you guys here. All right. So, I live in an apartment with my girlfriend and our 4 cats. I moved here last summer and she moved in a few months ago. This has been happening for a while, but it's escalated lately. We keep some recipe and cookbooks on top of a set of kitchen cabinets, so they're very high up against the wall, almost near the ceiling. Only one of our cats is a slight climber, and because of how the cabinet area is designed, he can't really get up there. There's nothing to hold on to and no space there for him to fit. Several days ago, we noticed that the topmost cookbook was sliding off its pile, hanging precariously down as though it were just about to fall. We fixed it, only for this to happen again a few hours later. The same book, the exact same hanging and almost falling position. The book isn't glossy to where it would slide off the other books, and we don't have any nearby air vents that would shift it. And besides, it's a heavy book anyway. We've also found kitchen drawers pulled wide open when we come home after both having been out together. We've approached certain rooms to find that their doors, the bathroom door and the door to my personal room, closed seemingly of their own accord. And when we know that after we left those rooms, we had those doors open all the way. We've had objects like an empty can of vegetables that I know we tossed into the recycling bin and took out to the garbage room suddenly reappear on the counter when we walk into the kitchen. We've come home to find pictures on the wall suddenly crooked, or one of my music CD booklets on display suddenly turned sideways when I always have it facing front. I've had very dark spiritual experiences in my life, but also plenty of situations where it was just coincidence or there was a very human cause. So I don't want to jump to, it's something spiritual, but it's like things are piling up and becoming harder to explain away. What the? Oh, there, okay. I lost where I was. Cool, professional. But it's like things are piling up and becoming harder to explain away, and it's unnerving and confusing. I've considered the possibility that someone is screwing with us, but we always lock our door, and the building has good security. I mean, you basically need a separate key to even get into the lobby. Plus, there's always a security guard on watch downstairs. Our cats may be clever or mischievous, but not to that degree. So, we're not really sure what's going on, but I just wanted to share that here. Dude! Yeah, that's odd. Vincent Rain, he says, I'd have to think of my top favorite voices for horror stories that I like listening to. I'm pretty sure Let's Read is one of them because he reminds me of your maker. Yeah, they do sound a lot alike, man. Even some people are like, that's just one guy with 2 channels. It's not, but yeah. TDN, how dare you, sir? If you could scroll up, you would be able to see all the nice shit we've been saying about you. Get out of here now. No more TDNs allowed. Dude, I was literally just earlier saying how I work with a 23-year-old and she has to teach me, like, slang, and it's just the most awkward thing. And I, of course, me being, like, a lover of all dad jokes, I just mess with her so hard, dude. Like, I know that the phrase bussin' is, like, usually meant for, like, food, to explain how delicious it is, but I'll use it in a past tense, and I'll be like, yo, that Panda Express that I brought for lunch really bust. She hates that. What is that orange thing? T2E. Oh, dude. Hey, that's awesome. That's a $20 super chat right there. That's amazing, man. Thank you so much. I am I'm gabberflasted. No, really, I appreciate you. Thank you. We're reading Glitch in the Matrix stories, and this is a fun thing that we do. There are 2 left. We went from 10 to 8 because 1, I don't know how to count, and we only had 9 to begin with. Wait, no. This is gonna. What the fuck? I'm so dumb, dude. Don't listen to me. The next one's called I Think My Dog Glitched. That's too cool, man. Thanks, T2E. Alright, dude, this is like the longest glitch story I've ever seen. This is gonna be good. Alright, let me hit record for this, baby. First of all, sorry about my English if it's not perfect. English isn't my... Mine neither, apparently. English isn't my native language, but I'll try to make this understandable. This happened to me today, and after a couple of hours of trying to find a logical explanation for this, I came to the conclusion that I came to a conclusion that I just can't. Later, I remembered reading these glitch stories from Reddit some time ago, so I thought I could make my first Reddit post and share this event with you. Here's some background information to make this a bit more clear. I'm a 20-year-old guy, still living with my family. That's my mom, my dad, my little sister, and our dog, which I'll call Molly. Molly is a Newfoundland dog. That's pronounced Newfoundland, right? When it's spelled as Newfoundland, that's a Newfoundland dog. If I'm wrong, let me know in the chat, please. Molly is a Newfoundland dog that loves winter and spends most of the days, and sometimes even nights, in our backyard, sleeping and chilling in thick snow. Today, in the afternoon, I was home alone and Molly was sleeping in the snowy backyard, like always. Suddenly, I remembered that in the morning I promised my dad to pick up groceries before he comes home from work. It was already 4 p.m., about a half an hour before my dad usually comes home. I grabbed my keys and looked outside of our living room window to see Molly still peacefully sleeping on the snow. I thought about letting her sleep there since I would only be away for half an hour, but then decided to take her inside to get some food and water. I opened the door and called her to come in, only to see the most disappointing. Oh, dang. Oh, sad dogs make me so sad. I opened the door and called her to come in, only to see the most disappointed dog face ever. Newfies really loved the freezing cold air. I finally managed to lure her in with some snacks and locked the door. I was about to leave and walked through the hallway to the front door. Molly followed me all the way, looking extremely sad to be left alone. I told her I would be back in a minute and slowly closed the door. Why did I say it like that? And slowly closed the door. So, another stupid side note. I use what the fuck? Streamlabs OBS to stream, and on the bottom of the little web browser, there's a giant purple banner that says Labor Day sale. Get $30 off Streamlabs Prime, and I just wanted to read that out loud and see how it sounded. Yeah. TDN, I hope you're good too, man. Yeah, no, it's all good. I won't share what the fuck, dude. Hope you're good, TDN. Anthony Anderson says, I'm listening from the supposed most haunted town in Texas. Ooh. What? That's Jefferson, Texas? Cool. What town is Hank Hill's family from? Yeah, Vincent. English do be hard sometimes, man. English do be hard a lot of the time. All right. Molly followed me all the way, looking extremely sad to be left alone. I told her I would be back in a minute and slowly closed the door, still talking to Molly as the gap fully closed. Last sight of Molly's snowy paws stuck to my mind. Got it. The last sight of Molly's snowy paws stuck to my mind, and I remember being irritated thinking that I have to dry the whole house with a towel after all that snow is melted on the floor. I started walking towards the car and immediately saw my dad driving into our yard. I waited outside my car as he parked and got out of his car. He told me he had a bit shorter day at work and seemed to be frustrated of me leaving. Okay. He told me he had a bit shorter day at work and seemed to be Yo, English be hard, dude. As soon as I learn how to read, it's over. He told me he had a bit of a shorter day at work and seemed to be frustrated at me for leaving at the last minute. I told him I just took Molly inside and she'll be waiting for him behind the door. She usually hears the car coming and going and to wait behind the door. Oh, Jesus. She usually hears the car coming and... Okay, cool, got it. She usually hears the car coming. Yeah. She usually hears the car coming and goes to wait behind the door. I saw my dad opening the door as I was slowly driving away from our yard, expecting to see a happy Molly welcoming him. But Molly wasn't there, which was a bit weird to see, but I didn't think much of it. Dad stepped in and closed the door after giving me a seemingly surprised look from not meeting Molly right away. I left and thought to myself that Molly probably went to the kitchen to eat or drink water and just ran to my dad right after the door was closed. Uh-oh. Jefferson, Texas is the most haunted place in Texas. There it is. I was away for about a half an hour, and when I got back inside, I saw my dad brushing Molly's fur in the living room. As I was putting groceries in the fridge, my dad asked me why I told him that Molly was inside. I quickly answered, saying that I took her inside right before I left, like I had said before. I didn't really understand what my dad was trying to ask me. He said that when he came in, he saw Molly barking behind the backyard door, wanting to be let in. We argued for quite some time, me telling him that I clearly remember Molly sitting behind the door with her snowy paws and sad face just a minute before he got in, and him telling me that she was barking behind the closed door in the backyard. I then asked about snow or water on the floor, and Dad said there was nothing on the floor, not even the smallest puddle. Some of you know how badly wet snow can stick to long fur of a dog. To the long fur. Some of you may know how badly wet snow can stick to the long fur of a dog that's been rolling in it. Considering the size of an adult Newfoundland dog, that amount of snow melted into water looks like it's been poured from a bucket. I have no idea what happened. I wasn't intoxicated or significantly tired, and there's no mental illness in our family. Also, my dad never lies, and even if he did, what would have been the point in that? Was this a glitch in the Matrix? Yup. Yes, it was, my good man or lady. You know what I love? Like when the story doesn't ever have any revealing factors as to if it's a male or a female, like telling it. My female audience will just assume that it's a female, like living the story, and then like the one who's reading the story, assume it's a dude because I'm a dude. I don't know, dude. It's all very sexist, but yeah, it's weird because it was Danny. She was like, she messaged me. She listened to one of my videos and she was like, man, the story about that girl being chased by those Jeeps. And I was like, wait a second, you mean the story about the guy being chased by Jeeps? And then I realized the writer didn't like make it obvious what gender they were. So that's just cool how one person can like basically experience a different story from the other. I mean, it's the same story, but if it's a man or a woman, you know, you get it. Bye, lady. Have a good night. This was called Dog Glitch. We have got one more story, and it's the best one. It's the best one. Hey, I know there's a few people in the chat that obviously make horror narrations, but also listen to horror narrations semi-regularly too. And I've got a question for you. Do you is it annoying for you, or is it helpful for you when you're like listening to these stories when the writers are like, it's describing the layout of their house? Like, does that help you? Or like, you know, like for example, you know, I was walking up my stairs. There's 12 of them, and I know that there's 12 because I've counted them ever since I was little. Anyways, when I got up to the 12th stair, if you look to the left, you see my bathroom. Look to the right, you see my parents' bedroom. And then, like, never bring up the bathroom on the left ever again. Like, does that help you immerse yourself in the story? I'm honestly asking. I have my own opinion on that, but I want to know, for the people that listen to these stories for fun, does that matter to you at all? Yeah, already. Danny's like, it's because I do the same thing, but opposite. Like, I always think it's a girl when I narrate. You know what, dude? Most of the time, like, especially in the creepy encounter stories, it's mostly girls, unfortunately. But, I mean, if the story doesn't include, like, I'm a 19-year-old female, like, my brain's just like, this is a dude. And, of course, Danny's brain says, oh, this is a girl. I'm serious about the people that are in the chat that listen to these stories. Do you like that detail or not? Please let me know. All right. This is the last one, dudes. We'll chat for a second afterwards if I get some answers on my very serious question, but let me pull this up. Lady disappears from a bathroom stall in the movies. Okay, so Anthony says it helps. It helps him. He likes to have a picture in his head. All right, cool. That's good to know. That's good to know, man. I wonder if others are like that too. All right, so this is not a super long one, but it's not a super short one either. I want to get through this in one take. We'll see if I can do it. That's the goal for this last story. It's like probably the equivalent of like, I don't know, dude, 3 or 4 paragraphs. But I want to do it in one take. After I get some tea in me.
Mobile download and background play. With it, you also get YouTube Music Premium, a music streaming app that has playlists.
And after the ad stops playing in the background music. Again, professional. Here we go. All right, so check this out. I went to the movies this weekend. Afterwards, I stopped by the ladies' room along with everybody else. When it was my turn, I was near the back of the line. Several stall doors opened simultaneously, and I had my pick. One lady, referring to the stall she'd just left, said, "Don't go in that one, it's out of paper." So I went into the one next to it. I had been near the end of the line for the bathroom, so the noise from people washing their hands and flushing has died down. I heard someone go into the stall next to mine and close the door. I felt the door close the way one does in a bathroom with side-by-side stalls. Everything shakes for a moment and you can hear the latch close. I heard her sigh and shift around, but I didn't see her feet or anything. It was the stall without paper, and I was stuck between extreme shyness and knowing that due to the bathroom code, she would probably ask me for some paper. Then I thought of a solution. I quickly flushed and stood up. I rolled the paper down from the dispenser until it was almost touching the floor, so the person in the stall next to me could see it and grab it if they wanted to. Satisfied that I would not have to say anything. Oh, dude. I didn't do it. I tried to do the whole thing in one take, and I got halfway through and flubbered it. Sacred Valued says, I agree. That helps. That it helps to get immersed in the story and have more details. Yeah. All right. Cool. Anthony says, focus. I was focusing, dude. Here's what happened. Again, in my efforts to seem like I'm just talking to you, one of my buddies, like I'm not gonna say. Satisfied that I would not have to say anything to a stranger. I'm gonna read it as satisfied that I didn't have to say anything to a stranger. Like, I don't know, dude. There's no wrong way to write that sentence. It's perfectly correct, but I don't know. I'm overthinking. Can I do the second half in one take? I doubt it. Let's see. Satisfied that I wouldn't have to say anything to a stranger, but they would still have the paper they needed, I left the stall to wash my hands. As I turned on the water, I glanced behind me in the mirror to see if she'd figured out to grab the toilet paper from my side of the stall. I was shocked to see that the stall door was open. There was nobody there. There was nobody left in the bathroom at all. It was a weird feeling, sort of like the sound draining out of the room as I stared, unbelieving. Where did she go? She didn't have time to leave. Since there was no one else in the bathroom at this point, I would have heard her. The whole thing took place in about maybe 20 seconds from the time she closed the door to the time I left my stall. I never heard or saw her Bust. I never heard or saw her stall door open, didn't hear any feet leaving the bathroom, and I didn't hear the main bathroom door open or close. And on top of everything, this happened while I was on vacation. Being as shy as I am, I was hyper aware of my surroundings because I was trying to sense the culture of the locals and just fit in. so I was paying more attention than usual, if that makes sense. If I hadn't recently learned of this sub, I would probably have blown this off as me being spacey or something, like I've blown off other situations in the past that I couldn't explain. I still can't explain this, but at least I know I'm not the only one who experiences these kinds of things. Boom. That's it. Those are all the stories. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories. Started with 10 because I don't know how to count. One of them was deleted from the subreddit entirely. I don't know why. So, yeah. Homies. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's the jam. Cool, just double checking everything, man. Listen, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. I had a super chat come in, which was super exciting for me. Thank you. I think that was one of my first ones ever. So thank you for that. And I just had fun reading stories with you guys and hanging out in the chat. So thank you. I need to let you go so that I can edit this and then probably get it out tomorrow, Tuesday at the latest. We'll see. All right, everybody, listen, I hope you have a good night and sleep tight. And if you have a long weekend, enjoy it. I'll see you soon.